struggle, so trust I know how it is. With all intentions to fuck, got interrupted again. I was doing good, had to take a whole nother L. You rather lose a sack instead of getting indicted for a sale. I would never fail against negativity, I prevail. We living a good life, legal. We ain't worried about 12. When I parallel them further ahead, I excel. Everybody, y'all think real. I look at them like squares, rejecting your comparisons. Sing your man, I bury him. Shape him up and ship him out so the tall bearers can carry him. Condemn fairy tale rappers in the lies they tell. I made it in the hood, I can do anything except fail. Mama, thank you for them times that you paid my bail. If you knew I wasn't gonna change, get out and raise hell. Now all these young cats coming up think they gangsta as hell. I knowing that the life they living gon' have them dead in jail.
You tricked out your life right here, chasing a bag in these streets. Yeah, I seen it happen before, so I suggest that you take it from me.
Cause you ain't Superman, you can't start twirling. The fastest snitches, they ain't gon' let you keep pushing.
So don't get tricked out your life right here, chasing a bag in these streets. Yeah.
Money, yeah, you know we got to have it. Everybody got needs and everybody got to have it. A million hustlers, king, go ahead and choose one. Maybe two or three. You need that income, but don't be out here hustling for pennies and selling them dimes. Don't be a fool out here committing ridiculous crimes. You got kids, you got family, man, they life on the line. Whatever problem come up, handle it like Tyson and Prime. You a king black man, step up and prove that you won. She a queen black man, why don't we treat her like one? She ain't a dog black man, why do we beat her like one? I'ma stand for our unity, go hard till I'm done. You can't be asleep when it comes, gotta look out for the jail. Get out the butt with the craft, make a positive impact. That strap don't make you know, man. How I grew up, we threw hands. Stop listening to these rap songs and use your brain, young man. Hey, come on, let's make a toast. Come on, let's make a toast. I keep a toast on the feast day. Eat good, drink good, let it replay. We bring it back to the holy days. Babylon, where we celebrate the Lord's day. I give a toast on the feast day. Eat that, we drink good, let it replay. We bring it back to the holy days. Babylon, where we celebrate the Lord's day. I give a toast on the feast day to all my loved ones no longer here, they passed away. I give a toast on the feast day to all my saints that repented and that changed their ways. I give a toast on the feast day, cause we don't celebrate holidays them heathen ways. I give a toast on the feast day. I love that Passover lamb, I'ma clean the plate. Make sure the bread ain't got no leaven in it, symbolizing, reminiscing of how we stopped sinning. So many different occasions, Yahweh gave deliverance. Yeah, we remember the time, that's how we Thanksgiving. We hold a feast of dedication, I know we get Christmas. Need to research what you celebrate, it's paganistic. I'm in the spirit on the holy days, I feel terrific. Only a glass or two of wine, so I don't feel eccentric. I give a toast on the feast days. Eat good, drink good, let it replay. We bring it back to the holy days. Babylon, where we celebrate the Lord's day. I give a toast on the feast day. Eat that, we drink good, let it replay. We bring it back to the holy days. Babylon, where we celebrate the Lord's day.
Hey, you know ain't no false and bound. Then I go hard for mine. So what you think when the feast is on the couch? And these three things so beautiful, you know I'm with the family. Ways from before became a distant memory. Family reunion every week, yeah, this is for the sale. How you love her, you don't keep the full command. Put down the things you did before, yeah, that's repentance. We put the fridges on our garments, they can't stand. I'm like, who fly than me? Spirit get higher, like the Messiah trying to be. I beyond power, me to sit by no peace. 7 month, 10th day, I feel free. My favorite feast, tabernacles. Post a 10 in the wilderness for a week. Make sure the ox got a bottle on ice. I treat my brothers like myself, with no worries for them all. Today we live without a kill. I'll praise the most high, let's have a toast. Put your drinks in the hell, cause it's a righteous
on the feast days. Eat good, drink good, let it replay. We bring it back to the holy days. Babylon, where we celebrate the Lord's day. I give a toast on the feast day. Eat that, we drink good, let it replay. We bring it back to the holy days. Babylon, where we celebrate the Lord. can't tell me nothing about life if you don't know pain. How you gonna try to coach if you don't know the game? You gon' get on the field and pick the wrong plays. Instead of seeking help, you wanna do your own thing.
A little bit is the love and makes love. That's why I'm giving you all of my love, girl. Thought I knew love, but you redefined it. Took me a while, but indeed I finally found it. Kisses and hugs keeping me reminded. Fake love in the past had me blinded.
So you can't counsel me, cause I don't want the fame. I just wanna wake up my people and break the chain. You just wanna do what you feel, yeah. Because you're living in the lust of your flesh. The fear of God is knowledge, but fools despise instruction. They need a Bible college for wisdom. The Holy Spirit instructs me. Sucklers need milk, they can't digest. Me just unlearn, so they misinterpret John 3:16. Saying Christ died for all, but everybody don't need saving. Deliverance is the essence of our eternal salvation. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, Akim. Shalom, family.
Shalom.
Shalom.
So, first, I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, whose name is Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai. That's in the name of Yahweh Shai. And so, what I would first want to do is give you the title, which is the so-called Star of David evil or demonic? So, it's called, I'm saying so-called Star of David because we know that, we don't know, we haven't established yet, but it isn't actually a star. That's why I say so-called Star of David. But, brothers, if y'all got anything y'all want to say, you can go ahead.
Yeah, all I'll say is just, again, shalom to everybody on the live, and to everyone that's going to catch the replay or the replay of the live. Just make sure to like, also make sure to comment and utilize the @highlight feature so you can tag all your friends and family. I'm sure it's still working for everybody. For some reason, it's not working on mine, but I'm sure it still works. But
yeah, brother, it did that a few days ago to me. Well, like I think a week or two ago, where I couldn't use it for a while. I don't know what was going on, but yeah, they gave it back to me. But I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, I could be going through this through a similar thing, but yeah, just if it's working for you, make sure to utilize it so you can tag everybody on your friends list. And yeah, that's all I got to add on. But I'll pass it back to y'all.
Con the water out. So without any further ado, we'll go ahead and get into it. We'll start with Acts 7, and we'll read verses 37 through 43.
Con. The new KJV, all right, or you want the KJV exclusively?
Either one to do.
Con. So Acts 7 and 33?
37 through 43.
Con. This is the book of Acts, chapter 7 and verse 37. This is that Moses who said to the children of Israel, the Lord your God will raise up for you a prophet like me from your brethren. Him you shall hear. This is he who was in the congregation in the wilderness with the angel who spoke to him on Mount Sinai, and with our fathers, the one who received the living oracles to give to us, whom our fathers would not obey, but rejected, and in their hearts they turned back to Egypt, saying to Aaron, make us gods to go before us. As for this Moses who brought us out of the land of Egypt, we do not know what has become of him. And they made a calf in those days, offered sacrifices to the idol, and rejoiced in the works of their own hands. Then God turned and gave them up to worship the host of heaven, as it is written in the book of the prophets. Did you offer me slaughtered animals and sacrifices during 40 years in the wilderness, O house of Israel? You also took up the tabernacle of Moloch and the star of your god Remphan, images which you made to worship and I will carry you away beyond Babylon.
So this is commonly what the so-called Star of David gets likened to. They say, hey, that's the Star of Remphan, or that's the Star of Moloch. So when you look at this passage, it says, this is that Moses which said unto the children of Israel, a prophet shall the Lord your God raise up unto you of your brethren, like unto me. Him shall ye hear. This is he that was in the church in the wilderness with the angel which spake to him in the Mount Sinai, and with our fathers who received the lively oracles to give unto us, to whom our fathers would not obey, but thrust him from them, and in their hearts turned back again into Egypt. So them turning back again into Egypt, we know this is idolatry, and this is basically rejecting the Most High God and just going back to something that they were accustomed to doing in a land that, you know, was filled with the heathen. They learned the heathen ways. It says, saying unto Aaron, make us gods to go before us. For as for this Moses, which brought us out of the land of Egypt, we wot not what is become of him. And they made a calf in those days, and offered sacrifice unto the idol, and rejoiced in the works of their own hands. Then God turned and gave them up to worship the host of heaven. As it is written in the book of the prophets, O ye house of Israel, have ye offered to me slain beasts and sacrifices by the space of 40 years in the wilderness? Yea, ye took up the tabernacle of Moloch, and the star of your god Remphan, figures which ye made to worship them, and I will carry you away beyond Babylon. So we see that they were made to worship a star of Remphan or Moloch. So we would have to actually identify what this star is, not, you know, have conjecture and just assume that it's this symbol that people say is the Star of David, what they call the Star of David, and they also liken it to the Star of Remphan or Moloch. So, brother, the Wad, he has a precept that he wants to precept with this, brother. You can bring it out.
So, when reading this, it's important to know what prophecy are they even referring to in the first place, right? And so, basically, brother, could you get Amos chapter 5? And actually, what they're quoting is in verse 26, but let's go a little bit before that. We could actually start at 21.
Con. And are you cool with the NKJV or KJV?
Either one is fine. KJV is fine.
Con. It's the book of Amos chapter 5, starting at verse 21. It says, I despise your feast days, and I will not smell your solemn assemblies. So like it smelled in your solemn assemblies. Though ye offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them. Neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts. Take thou away from me the noise of thy songs, for I will not hear the melody of thy viols. But let judgment run down as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream.
So right here, the Most High is showing his anger or frustration with the children of Israel at this point. And so as we get to this next verse, we're going to get exactly into the point which was read in Acts chapter 7. All right, so you can continue on.
Verse 24. But let judgment run down as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream. Have ye offered unto me sacrifices and offerings in the wilderness 40 years, O house of Israel? But ye have borne the tabernacle of your Moloch, and Chuan your images, the star of your God, which ye have made to yourselves.
Right. So right here in verse 26, where it talks about the tabernacles of your Moloch. And in many instances, we'll think, oh, all of this is just, you know, a specific god or something of that nature, right? But this is talking about the place in which they carried that particular god, right? And this is that Babylonian god, Kiun, or as we read in the Hebrew text. If you can actually open up the tools for verse 26.
The tools.
No, that's fine. This is fine, right?
Okay.
And could you go down to the definition?
So the definition is a statue, i.e. idol, but used by euphemism for some heathen deity, perhaps corresponding to Priapus or Baal Peor.
Right. And can you jump up the biblical usage?
Khan. And it says, Kion, an image or pillar, probably a statue of the Assyrian Babylonian god of the planet Saturn, and used to symbolize Israelite apostasy.
Right. And so this is a symbol that was used to represent Saturn, because throughout antiquity, never, like in most cases, you don't see a symbol represented as like an idolatry. You mostly see a personified image to represent that. And the apostasy is representative of them casting away their belief system in the Most High, who brought them out of Israel, out of Egypt. And so I'm gonna pass it back on to the brother, because I know he has a precept in Wisdom of Solomon.
Khan. Brother, grab Wisdom of Solomon 13 verses 1 and 2.
Khan. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13, starting at verse 1. Let me share my screen also. It says, surely vain are all men by nature, who are ignorant of God, and could not out of the good things that are seen know him that is. Neither by considering the works did they acknowledge the workmaster, but deemed either fire or wind, or the swift air, or the circle of the stars, or the violent water, or the lights of heaven, to be the gods which govern the world.
Khan. And I brought this out just so we can look at what it says about a star. It says, but deemed either fire, wind, or the swift air, or the circle of the stars, or the violent water, or the lights of heaven to be the gods which govern the world. So we are identifying what a star actually looks like. It's a circle. And when you think of just the sun, I mean, the sun is one star, one of the brightest, or the brightest star in the sky that you actually can visually see. It's a circle. It's not how we look at, they say 5.6 point stars. Those are not stars. Those are symbols. And these symbols actually mean something, but they're not stars. Brother, grab verses 3 and 4 also.
Continuing on to verse 3. With whose beauty, if they being delighted, took them to be gods, let them know how much better the Lord of them is. For the first author of beauty hath created them. But if they were astonished at their power and virtue, let them understand by them how much mightier he is that made them.
So you did have people who did actually, honor or worship the creation instead of the creator. And this is what it's talking about. When you look at verse 1, it says, surely vain are all men by nature, who are ignorant of God, and could not out of the good things that are seen know him that is. Neither by considering the works did they acknowledge the workmaster. So they start to honor and worship these things that the creator actually created, and he did not create them to be worshiped. He created them to serve a purpose and for us to observe them in their beauty, but not to honor and worship them in the nature that he wants to be worshiped. So it says in I'll skip back to verse 3. It says, with whose beauty, if they being delighted, took them to be gods, let them know how much better the Lord of them is. For the first author of beauty hath created them. So when they, fulfill their purpose, they're teaching and showing you how beautiful the Most High God is and how much wisdom he has because of how they operate. It says, but if they were astonished at their power and virtue, let them understand by them how much mightier he is that made them. So, this is showing that if we're to say like Star Rimph and Star Moloch, if that's actually a thing, that's not a star, not with so-called star, what people call a star. And brother Aaron just put something in the chat, and I'll highlight it and read it. It says gas clouds produce stars, and most stars will also be in the plane of the disk. And that's from this source, Astronomy Stack Exchange. Questions.
Con. So it basically is speaking about the shape of most stars. So they're gonna be in the shape of like a disc, or like how you see like a CD or like a DVD. So speaking to what the brother was touching on, how they would be in the shape of a circle.
The water, good point. And brother DeWar, you got an article.
If you can grab Saturn, Hidden God, and you could scroll down to Saturn as Ninita. It's a lot. Yeah, because what's important is as we're talking about these images, right? When we're dealing with the Kiyun, we're dealing with in a risen up like kind of a statue, so to speak. So it's not in any shape or form a star as we think of, an artifact that would have 6 points in any shape or form. We don't see that in the scripture or in any antiquity, right? So you could read this first section of this article, because as we read in the scriptures, it's talking about this Babylonian Assyrian god.
This section right here. So this is Saturn as Ninurta, excuse me. It says, let me try to make this wider.
And I was just gonna say, probably need to blow it up a little bit.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think that's the best I could probably do.
Okay.
Oh, this might be better. Okay, cool.
Probably close those cookies out.
Yeah, for sure. So this says the Babylonian astronomers had observed the 5 planets and named them after gods of their mythology. Excuse me. Mercury was known as Nabu. Venus was known as Ishtar. Mars was known as Nergal. Jupiter was known as Marduk, and Saturn was known as Ninurta. Sumerian Thunderbird. I'm the god, or I'm the good. Ninurta was the Mesopotamian god of fertility, war, and hunting.
So as you read on, you're going to see the connection between this god who represents Saturn and the connection between Nimrod, who we read in the scriptures, which is the particular hunter that the Most High talks about, the cunning hunter. And so as we read through this, we get the Hebrew dialect and the understanding. And actually, you could jump down to where it says he identified with Nagersu. It's not that far now.
Okay.
Up a little bit where it talks about
scroll up.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. It's gonna be within this black part.
Yeah.
Okay. It's probably this thing. This is the end of it.
It's a little bit up from that.
Okay. Oh, like here?
Kind of just a little bit up.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Okay, cool. Oh, he has okay, I got you. It says he has identified with Ningersu, Pabliksak, and the biblical Nimrod, which comes from the Hebrew verb marad, meaning rebel. Adding an N before the M, it becomes an infinite construct, Nimrod. The meaning then is the rebel.
So if we see the image that's portrayed, and we know that the different provinces, if you could scroll back to where the image is,
Con,
um, that Nimrod was over, Nineveh and Babylonia and all those particular provinces. Um, this would be synonymous to represent their god or their leader, the one who they who they deem as their particular god, the infancy of you know the Babylonians and all of those things. Um, so it's important for us to know that these things aren't just the surface star or anything that we think of with the Western civilization, to think that, as the brother said, 5 point stars, 6 point stars were something that they were utilizing in this particular way. Um, it just wasn't. Did you want to bring your point before I went to Acts?
Yeah, we can. So, brother, if you could, flash those pictures of some of the ancient sun worship that was actually taking place, so we could see what that actually looks like.
con,
So yeah,
con.
that's an Egyptian deity. I can't remember. I think that's the female goddess, Annis or something like that. It's one of them Egyptian goddesses, and so she's doing sun worship, and we see, we know the sun is a star, so we see part of what sun worship looks like. You can go to the next image,
Con.
and then we see this demon, and if you can blow that picture up a little bit
Con.
so that they can see like the details on it. So like that disc that brother Aaron was talking about, that's actually what he has in his hand, is that disc that, that the source from Astronomy Stack Exchange had basically referred to. And pretty much this is sun worship. Even the actual thing he's holding in his hand to the right of the picture with the disc is symbolizing the sun. So they're actually doing sun worship in the Catholic Church. And this is part of what it stems from, but it's actually more ancient than that, because we just saw the Egyptian deity doing the same thing, sun worship. But you can go to the next one. Is it another one? I think one more.
Yeah, it's some more.
Oh,
Guys,
yeah. You don't need those yet. Those for later. But yeah, that's just some examples of what sun worship look like, or star worship looks like. So it wouldn't be 5 point, 6 point stars. These were not what were being used to worship as star worship or sun worship. But yeah, go ahead, brother Dewad, you got it.
Yeah, actually, if you go back to that article, Saturn was actually called the dark sun or the black sun. And they actually, if you scroll down, you'll actually see a similar disc to what the brother Aaron and the brother Hurt were saying. And so this was one of the forms of the sun or the black sun or the moon. All of these things were represented as discs, not points. We do see like forms of rays here, but that doesn't have anything to do with the shape of what they would have worshipped, right? So pretty much how they worshipped particular stars or anything like that, they utilize people to represent those things. So brother, if you could get Acts chapter 14, and we can go to, I guess, verse 10.
It's the book of Acts, chapter 14, and verse 10. Said with a loud voice, stand up straight on your feet. And he leaped and walked. Now, when the people saw Paul had done, or what Paul had done, they raised their voices, saying, in the Lycaonian language, the gods have come down to us in the likeness of men. And Barnabas, they called Zeus, and Paul Hermes, because he was the chief speaker.
Con. Can you grab that in KJV real quick?
I was gonna read it because I was just sitting and reading it, and I was like, hold up. So it says let's start at verse 10.
And we can actually just jump to 12. I think the other two suffice.
It says, and they called Barnabas Jupiter and Paul Mercurius or Mercury, because he was the chief speaker.
Right. And so basically they saw Paul, and he did this miraculous work through the Spirit, right? And so their thought was that the gods had come down in the likeness of men, right? Because that's how everybody understood anything, understood the angels and everything as they came down as men. So when they saw this, they worshiped, or they were about to worship them as if they were Jupiter and Mercury, right? And so this is how the different people of the different nations and all of that will worship the different stars, anything. They were personified. They weren't, oh, it's just this particular like 6-point image that we're about to worship now. No, they saw a person and they said, oh, this is the star that we're going to worship. This is the image or the likeness that we're about to worship, and we're going to call this thing Jupiter. We're going to call this thing Mercury, right? But yeah, I'll pass it over to the brother Hurt.
All praises. And so that's where you get these graven images. They had to fashion them after something or somebody to actually make this idol to worship it. So like you had a couple of these people that actually existed, they died, and so they would create these statues to worship that person in their death. But that's a beautiful point, brother Dewad. Brother, grab Deuteronomy 4 verses 14 through 20, and this is kind of going to touch on the same thing that we're just talking about right now.
It's the book of Deuteronomy chapter 4, starting at verse 14. And Yahweh commanded me at that time to teach you statutes and judgments, that ye might do them in the land whither ye go over to possess it. Take ye therefore good heed unto yourselves, for ye saw no manner of similitude on the day that the Most High spake unto you in Horeb out of the midst of the fire, lest ye corrupt yourselves and make you a graven image, the similitude of any figure, the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any beast that is on the earth, the likeness of any winged fowl that flieth in the air, the likeness of anything that creepeth on the ground, the likeness of any fish that is in the waters beneath the earth. And lest thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the host of heaven, shouldest be driven to worship them and serve them, which the Most High thy power hath divided unto all nations under the whole heaven. But Yahweh hath taken you and brought you forth out of the iron furnace, even out of Egypt, to be unto him a people of inheritance, as ye are this day.
So verse 14 says, and the Lord commanded me at that time to teach you statutes and judgment, that ye might do them in the land whither ye go over to possess it. Take ye therefore good heed unto yourselves, for ye saw no matter of similitude on the day that the Lord spake unto you in Horeb out of the midst of the fire. So we pay close attention to the next two verses, because this is going into the topic. lest ye corrupt yourselves and make you a graven image, the similitude of any figure, the likeness of male or female. Going into how we were just talking about, these people walking the earth, they died, and then they would make images of these people to worship them. And it says the likeness of any beast that is on the earth, the likeness of any winged fowl that flieth in the air, the likeness of anything that creepeth on the ground, the likeness of any fish that is in the waters beneath the earth. And lest thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the hosts of heaven, shouldest be driven to worship them and serve them, which the Lord thy God hath divided into all nations under the whole heaven. So you had people that actually were doing these things. And so he warned Israel about doing these things also, because, he already knew we were adulterous nation. He knew we were going to do it anyway, but he warned us, and we were supposed to follow these commandments. So, just showing that with these people walking the earth and people making graven images to worship them is a sin in itself, and also something we weren't supposed to do. Brother, grab Deuteronomy 5 and 8.
God. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 5 and verse 8. Thou shalt not make thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters beneath the earth.
Some people would take this and think they're like, okay, you can't have paintings in your house or something like that. But when you look at graven in the Hebrew, it means carved, a carved image. So making a statue of these things, we shouldn't, like, even a statue of a man, like when men get statues made of them, that's going against this commandment. It shouldn't be done. So, this is just showing us that we should not even make any stars or use something as a star, or a person as a star. Because when you look at the word star, it's not just talking about the star in the sky. It can be talking about someone of acclaim, someone is in a mighty position, a high position. Brothers, y'all got anything to add before we go forward?
Because we even see in Numbers chapter 24 verses 17, where it's talking about the representative, right? If you could grab that real quick.
God. It's the book of Numbers, chapter 24, verse 17. I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and shall smite the corners of Moab, and destroy all the children of Sheth.
Right. And so just like how we see today, and we say, oh, this is a superstar here, or this is this famous person is my favorite superstar. Like, this is the one who represents what it is that, in certain cases, like, these other particular scriptures, these are people worshiping something. But in this particular one, it's talking about the representative, and in this case, the one who is going to be the hand of the Most High in this particular situation, right? And even as the brother was saying, do you have that Parapigma, the stick calendar article?
And I had a point on this Numbers 24 point, if you don't mind.
Oh, kind of bring that.
Because even when you go into the word here for star, it's the Hebrew word kochab or kawakab in the Hebrew. And when you look at what the Hebrew language says here, it says the star, then it says of Messiah, brothers, youth, numerous progeny, personification, God's omniscience, figuratively speaking. And then you look at the definition, in the sense of rolling, and then it says, or in the sense of blazing, a star as round or as shining, right? And then it gives figurative connotation. But if you look at this, let me see if it shows. Oh, it doesn't show it on here. But if you have the mobile, oh no, it does. It's lock here, right here, right? It says to sparkle like a star. And when you look at how the Bible is written, is it utilizes a whole bunch of what you would call like poetic language or like similes, metaphors, and things like that. So just to kind of speak to the brother's point, like if you use like a practical example today, as as pertaining to like a superstar, it's somebody that shines or that that draws a whole bunch of acclaim and attention and things like that, right? But but I'll pass it back to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the importance of learning Hebrew thought when reading the scriptures, because when we're reading these things, they use concrete points to prove different or to give examples of different things. So where they would say star, that would be something you can recognize to know, all right, this represents something that's shining or an example for something, right? Because even in Genesis, we see that the stars were created for signs, right? And so each time we see this, we have to make the connection and not think of the Western way of thinking, but think of the Hebrew thought, right? Um, so did you have that particular article with the
Con,
stick calendar?
it's the pyrapegma.
Yeah, parapigma.
Con. You just want me to
And
start from the top?
well, you don't have to read it. I just was kind of showing the just the
Symbols.
representative for each day of the week, right? And actually you can scroll down to where they've kind of flipped it up and gave it a sketch of it, right?
Mm.
And if you could
Blow it up.
blow that up. Yeah, just yeah. And so as we see here, we see quote unquote Saturn as
Mhm.
the first day of the week here, and we see him with the particular tool. Later on in certain things, we see Saturn personified as a man eating a child, and it get real wicked. But yeah, so like each representative is in human form. We don't see any depiction where we see a circle or where we see a star or anything like that. And this is one of the oldest calendars, right?
Mhm.
So but that's all I wanted to share on that.
Good point. Because like that's the thing when people don't understand that these deities actually had symbols or images to represent them, and so yeah, that's a good point. The wild. Um. So basically, right now, like we would be at the point to say like, okay, well, if this isn't the star Renfan, this isn't the star Moloch, what is it? And the Bible actually tells us what it is. That's the reason brothers wear it, because we understand what it is. We understand it's not a star. We understand it's not the star of Moloch. It's not the star of Remphan, because if that was the point, we wouldn't wear it, because we don't engage in pagan holidays. We don't do any pagan practices. So why would we wear this symbol if it has nothing to do with the Most High God? So, brother, grab it, Exodus 28 verses 1-4, because we're going to identify exactly what this symbol is.
Con. Exodus, you said 8.
28 verses 1-4.
Con. It's the book of Exodus, chapter 28, starting at verse 1. And take thou unto thee Aaron thy brother, and his sons with him, from among the children of Israel, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office, even Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, Eleazar and Ithamar, Aaron's sons. And thou shalt make holy garments for Aaron thy brother, for glory and for beauty. And thou shalt speak unto all that are wise hearted, whom I have filled with the spirit of wisdom, and that they may make Aaron's garments to consecrate him, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office. And these are the garments which they shall make: a breastplate, and an ephod, and a robe, and a broidered coat, a mitre, and a garment, Slack and a girdle. And they shall make holy garments for Aaron thy brother and his sons, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office.
Con, and we're just reading verse 1 through 4 to get context of what's going on. So we see that Aaron basically says, and take thou unto thee Aaron thy brother and his sons with him from among the children of Israel, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office, even Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, Eleazar, Ithamar, Aaron's sons. And thou shalt make holy garments for Aaron thy brother for glory and for beauty. So we're going to find out what's going to go on these garments. Brother, jump down to verse 31 through 35.
Come. Verse 31. And thou shalt make the robe of the ephod all of blue, and there shall be an hole in the top of it, in the midst thereof. It shall have a binding of woven work round about the whole of it, as it were the whole of an habergeon, that it be not rent. And beneath, upon the hem of it, thou shalt make pomegranates of blue, and of purple, and of scarlet, round about the hem thereof, and bells of gold between them round about. A golden bell and a pomegranate, a golden bell and a pomegranate, upon the hem of the robe round about. And it shall be upon Aaron to minister, and his sound shall be heard when he goeth in unto the holy place before Yahweh, and when he cometh out, that he die not.
Con. So we know that this was commanded for them to do on these garments. So when you look at verse 34, it says, a golden bell and a pomegranate, a golden bell and a pomegranate upon the hem of the robe round about. So it being repeated like that would show you that all the way around the garment, you'll have a golden bell, a pomegranate, a golden bell, a pomegranate. So you would say, like, okay, so what are you saying? What I'm saying is this is a pomegranate. This is a symbol for the pomegranate. And you say, like, how do you get that? A pomegranate is round. But that's not, like, brother, bring up the images. Because the pomegranate, once you cut it open, and also in its budding form, it has a shape that's not just a round shape.
God.
So if you look at the end of the pomegranate while it's on the tree and it's blooming, you see that symbol. The next picture gives you a little closer look and a little more clarity.
Oh my goodness. That was the one from earlier. It's like it.
I don't know how they got mixed up like that.
Yeah, I have no idea. Is this the one?
Nah, that's the lily.
Well, yeah, that's the lily Slakia. This one.
There we go. Yes, sir. So that's the inside of the pomegranate, and it still has the same shape inside when you cut it open. But you can keep going. So there it is again. If you zoom in on the top of that pomegranate.
Oh, zoom in, Slakia.
Kind. So if you zoom in, so if you look at the screen, you can see the shape that the pomegranate has on top. And it's the same shape of the so-called Star of David. And it's the same shape inside once you cut it open. So that shows that that's the pomegranate. That's the symbol of the pomegranate, because we know that a bell would be round, just like the regular pomegranate is as a fruit. So it couldn't be saying, hey, I want you to put a round shape and then another round shape. And you could have just kept it as a bell all the way around. So it's definitely going to be a different size or a different shape from the bell. And Brother Dewar, you got a point you want to make?
Kind. I just sent Aaron a picture. If you could grab that.
All right, 1 second.
Kind. Because what's interesting is it was a shirt I was working on. I actually used this particular image on the shirt rather than like the art of the the 6 point that we usually see. So
And by the way, while we waiting on Brother Aaron to grab that, y'all make sure y'all go and check out Peculiar Apparel. That's what both of us got on today, the shirts. And brother got some good designs, some good products, some good prices. And it's peculiarapparel.com, right?
All praises to the Most High. Was you able to pull that one up?
Yeah. It's loading right now.
Got you.
Yep, I got it. Let me share my screen.
Oh shoot.
Let me I'll blow it up a little bit.
Yeah, so you could, I mean, if you got any questions, man, it's right in front of your eyes.
Same exact shape. Like it ain't no way you can say it's not. It's very congruent with what they call a 6-point star.
Right. And this is at like the earlier stages before the fruit actually forms.
All praise. And so, brother, if you could pull up those pictures I have on the artifacts. Like basically looks like it's in the tabernacle.
Okay. And that was the 2?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 2. It was 2 of them.
For sure.
And if you tuned in and you haven't already, please give us a like and a share and comment. Let us know you're here. And if you already shared it, share it again. All praise to the Most High.
So I just had to go back and send it to myself. I don't know how I wasn't in there, but yeah, so it should pop up in a second.
Well, when I was reading Exodus 28, for reference, y'all, that same passage, that same reference is in Exodus 39 too. So basically we know that it was commanded for Aaron and his sons to do. So this is part of the reason why brothers take the same stance and wear it themselves. Go ahead. You got something, brother?
Oh no, I didn't know if he had it up already. But yeah, that's we see it on ancient artifacts, and we're aware that other cultures have tried to take, the symbol and use them in wickedness, just as they done the rainbow and all of those different things that were meant for a good purpose, a good sign. And these were things that the Most High commanded us to utilize.
And I think that's the part that people get hung up on is like this symbol is used in occult practices, Satanism, and so they'll say, "Oh, that's the satanic star," but we had the symbol first. It wasn't a satanic star. That became afterwards, later on. So looking at the screen, we see like an ancient artifact, and this same symbol is present. And this is from antiquity, from Jerusalem. This isn't any recent finding. It's something that's of old. You can go to the other one. And this would be like inside of a synagogue or tabernacle. And they have a lot of other artifacts where you can go online and search them, and they found this symbol. A lot of times it isn't just a couple of times. I just only chose 2 of the pictures I could find. But yeah, brother, you got anything you want to add before we continue forward?
Yeah, I'm looking for a passage in Wisdom of Solomon, where basically it says the like it spoke to like literally what the brother just brought out about, you know, how people, you know, they try to utilize things on the left hand side that, or more so pervert things and place them on the left hand side that didn't have that origin or didn't have that use, you know, at a particular time. Like, you know,
Brother Block just put a precept in the chat. You can read it.
that
On
yeah,
the
that's the one I was looking for. That's literally that.
Look at that.
All praises. Wisdom of Solomon 4:12. It says, "For the bewitching of naughtiness doth obscure things that are honest, and the wandering of concupiscence doth undermine the simple mind." Right. So, literally speaking to that point, you know, when you have something, you know, that had a pure start, you know, or a pure usage in the beginning, you know, what happens? You know, the wicked, they get in there and they utilize it for something evil. You know, like, you know, just literally in like how the brother spoke to, you know, this is something that, you know, our forefathers, we were utilizing, you know, like as the brother was bringing out in Exodus 28, and also, you know, you see it likened unto in the Book of Kings, right? You know, on the temple, right? But you also see a lot of wicked people utilize this thing as well later on. Like you have like I know I believe a gang in Chicago, they utilize it. You know, of course you got Amalek. You know, they want to utilize it, and we know what Amalek is up to. But you know, it doesn't make it, you know, something evil just because somebody evil tries to utilize it. I mean, evil people utilize the Bible, so just keep that in mind, right?
And I've actually had a GD question me when they started rocking it. It was like, brother, what you got? I was like, well, and I gave them the knowledge, you know what I'm saying? That, yeah, you know, they call it a so-called Star of David, but it really ain't, you know, it's pomegranate and the lily. He was like, oh, you know some. Because their origin is, they call it the Star of David because of one of the founders of the GDs, and they call it the Star of David, you know, having to do with his name. But he was surprised that I knew what I knew about the symbol, that it is not actually the Star of David. It's not a star, it's pomegranate and a lily, because they have that knowledge also that it's pomegranate and a lily. But yeah, but all praises. And if y'all got anything y'all want to bring forward before we continue?
Nothing on my side.
Nothing at the moment, but that does show that the Most High implants this knowledge within us.
Con. So we could grab 1 Kings 6:1.
Con. This is the book of 1 Kings, chapter 6 and verse 1. And it came to pass in the 480th year after the children of Israel were come out of the land of Egypt, in the 4th year of Solomon's reign over Israel, in the Mount Ziph, which is the 2nd month, that he began to build the house of Yahweh.
So just for context sake, Solomon is about to build a house of the Lord. Brother, grab the verses 11 through 14.
Con. This is 1 Kings chapter 6 and verse 11. And the word of Yahweh came to Solomon, saying, concerning this house which thou art in building, if thou wilt walk in my statutes and execute my judgments, and keep all my commandments to walk in them, then will I perform my word with thee, which I spake unto David thy father. And I will dwell among the children of Israel, and will not forsake my people Israel. So Solomon built the house and finished it.
Con. So he built the house, he finished it. But brother, let's go to 1 Kings chapter 7, verses 13 through 22. Because it's going to go into more depth in what he actually did when he built this house to the Lord.
This is 1 Kings chapter 7 and verse 13. And King Solomon sent and fetched Hiram out of Tyre. He was a widow's son of the tribe of Naphtali, and his father was a man of Tyre, a worker in brass, and he was filled with wisdom and understanding and cunning to work all works in brass. And he came to King Solomon and wrought all his work. For he cast 2 pillars of brass of 18 cubits high apiece, and a line of 12 cubits did compass either of them about. And he made 2 pillars, like 2 chapiters of molten brass, to set upon the tops of the pillars. The height of one chapiter was 5 cubits, and the height of the other chapiter was 5 cubits. And nets of checkerwork, and wreaths of chain, of chain work, for the chapiters were which were upon the top of the pillars, 7 for the one chapiter, and 7 for the other chapiter. And he made the pillars in 2 rows round about upon one network, to cover the chapiters that were upon the top with pomegranates. And so did he for the others, for the other chapiter. And the chapiters that were upon the top of the pillars were of lily work in the porch 4 cubits. And the chapiters upon the 2 pillars had pomegranates also above, over against the belly which was by the network. And the pomegranates were 200 in rows round about upon the other chapiter. And he set up the pillars in the porch of the temple. And he set up the right pillar, and called the name thereof Jachin. And he set up the left pillar, and called the name thereof Boaz. And upon the top,
Salaki, my bag. Continue that, just that last verse.
verse 22. And upon the top of the pillars was lily work. So was the work of the pillars finished.
Con. So just like we just showed the artifact, that the pomegranate is there, but also this lily, it was told that, he was supposed to make sure the pomegranate was actually on the pillar and the lily work. Brother, grab some pictures of the lily.
Con.
Con. And so the same exact shape of the pomegranate. And you can go to another picture of it. I think there's a couple more of them, 1 or 2 more. Yeah.
Con.
So we see what that would have looked like. So that's why we say, this symbol, it isn't the so-called Star of David. It's a pomegranate or a lily. It could be either one of them. So that pretty much kind of just sums up what it would look like, as far as in ancient times, where you find it in the Bible, why we would wear it, why we would use it in as a symbol. And so I got some other precepts, but brothers, if y'all got anything, y'all can bring whatever you got for it. I got a few more precepts, like 3 more, just to end it off with.
Con, not on the side.
Con.
Yeah.
2nd Ezra 5, 23 through 27.
Con. God, it's the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 5, starting at verse 23. and said, O Lord, that bearest rule of every word, of every wood of the earth, and of all the trees thereof, thou hast chosen thee one only vine, and of all lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit, and of all the flowers thereof, one lily, and of all the depths of the sea, thou hast filled thee one river, and of all builded cities, thou hast hallowed Zion unto thyself, and of all the fowls that are created, thou hast named thee one dove, and of all the cattle that are made, thou hast provided thee one sheep, and among all the multitudes of peoples, thou hast gotten thee one people, and unto this people whom thou lovest, thou gavest a law that is approved of all.
Man, this is a beautiful precept. And like when you really look at it, it's just showing that he has a favorite of any kind of anything. He has a favorite. So the lily would be the favorite flower of the Most High God. This is why he wanted this flower on the temple. This is why he wanted, this symbolism. And when you look at it, he's comparing that lily to us. And even when you get to verse 27, it says, and among all the multitudes of people, thou hast gotten me one people, and unto this people whom thou lovest, thou gave us a law that is approved of all. So, like, for people that say we shouldn't keep the law, or the law, we don't have to do that no more, that's kind of vain, because God did that out of love. He gave us those laws out of love because of how much he loved us. He didn't give those laws to anybody else. So once we start to say we don't have to keep the law, it's like we're rejecting the love of God. So, when you look at verse 26, it says, and of all the fowls that are created, thou hast named thee one dove, and of all the cattle that are made, thou hast provided thee one sheep. We know that he compares us to the sheep, his people. And even the dove, we see the significance of the dove in the time of Noah in that story. So these are some very profound points that Solomon actually made about the Most High God having favorites of these things, and then comparing us also to his favorite, but being his favorite people. Brothers, y'all want to add anything?
Nothing on this side.
Con. So grab Proverbs 18 verses 13 through 15.
Con. You said chapter 18 and what verse?
13 through 15.
Con. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, starting at verse 13. He that answereth a matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him. The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity, but a wounded spirit who can bear? The heart of the prudent getteth knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeketh knowledge.
So you have someone that will judge this symbol and say, oh, that's demonic. That's the star of Moloch. That's the star of Remphan. But they haven't even examined the matter. They haven't done any research to really see where does this originate from. They only go back as far as their minds can perceive. Like, yeah, of course, we know that the symbol has been likened to Satanism. It has been likened to worship of other deities. But that's not the end all be all. If we don't do the research, we don't study the matter out, then we start to become foolish. It says, he that answer a matter before he heareth, it is folly and shame unto him. The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity, but a wounded spirit who can bear? The heart of the prudent get knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeketh knowledge. So we have to make sure we're being prudent. We study these things out, and we really find out what they were made for. What do they really mean before we make a false judgment on something? As simple as this. Brother, 1 Thessalonians 5 and 21.
Book of 1 Thessalonians 5:21. Prove all things, hold fast that which is good.
Khan, all praises. And hopefully today we've been able to explain and bring this point out so that people are able to say, yeah, I can see what they're saying, and they have proved that this symbol isn't what I thought it was, or it isn't how people represent it to be. But brothers, y'all got anything? Y'all can come forward with anything.
Con. And it's very important to look up artifacts and things and see how far they go back. We know that in the time of Jeremiah, a lot of our artifacts and things were burned. So it's very difficult to say, oh, well, why don't we have anything from the time of David?
Right.
It was destroyed. you gotta actually read your Bible and understand the timelines and the things like that to understand that maybe these things aren't going to be as old as I want them to be, because a lot of the Israelites things got destroyed because of our disobedience.
Real good point.
Yeah. As far as me, nothing to really add on. Just definitely a great lesson through the Spirit of power of the Most High. The Water Brothers for your research and willingness to bring it forth to the community. And all praises to the Most High that He allowed y'all to, really just bring forth the information in a very digestible and easy to understand way. So definitely all praises to the Most High for the lesson.
The Water Brothers, the Water for the reading, the Water Brother, the Water for joining the stream tonight.
Water for having me, man. All praises to the Most High.
All praises. Just want to close it out by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, and everybody that tuned in, the Water for tuning in, the Water for sharing, liking, and also anybody that's tuning in on a replay. If you could, make sure you're sharing, you're liking, and you're also commenting, letting us know you were here to be edified. And all praise to the Most High. Brother, you can close us out.
I'll close it out with Numbers 6 and 24 on down. Yahweh will bless thee and keep thee. Yahweh will make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. Yahweh will lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. And with that, I'll say shalom.
Shalom, Mark. Shalom. Shalom, family.
Shalom.
Can't tell me nothing about life if you don't know pain. How you gonna try to coach if you don't know the game? You gonna get on the field and pick the wrong place. Instead of seeking help, you wanna do your own thing.
A little bit is the love in me, love. That's why I'm giving you all of my love, girl. Thought I knew love, but you redefined it. Took me a while, but indeed I finally found it. Kisses and hugs keeping me reminded. Fake love in the past had me blinded.
So you can't cancel me, cause I don't want the fame. I just wanna wake up my people and break the chain. You just wanna do what you feel, yeah. Because you're living in the lust of your flesh. The fear of God is knowledge, but fools despise instruction. They need a Bible college for wisdom. The Holy Spirit instructs me. Sucklings need milk, they can't digest. Just unlearn, so they misinterpret John 3:16. Saying Christ died for all, but everybody don't need saving. Deliverance is the essence of our eternal salvation.